Hi, I'm Maeve. Today I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. So, you're finally moving out? My best friend Cassie asked, helping me pack the last of my clothes into a cardboard box. Yep, 25 years old and finally free, I said, taping the box shut with more force than necessary. You've been saving up for this for years. I'm proud of you. Cassie sat on my bed, watching me label the box with a black marker. I couldn't have done it without you, I admitted. Your couch was my sanctuary more times than I can count. Are you going to tell them today? She asked, her voice softening. I nodded, sealing another box. They're expecting me for dinner. Dad thinks it's just another Sunday meal. And Victoria? She'll be there too. Perfect opportunity to finally say goodbye to both of them. Just be careful, Cassie warned. You know how they get. I'm not afraid anymore, I said, looking at the faded scar on my forearm. Not of them, not of anything. Cassie followed my gaze. Does it still hurt? Only when I let it, I replied. Dr. Bennett says the psychological scars take longer to heal than physical ones. Your therapist is a wise woman, Cassie said, standing up. Do you want me to drive you? No, I need to do this alone. But can you be on standby, just in case? Always, she promised. Text me every 30 minutes or I'm calling the police. I laughed. You're so dramatic. Maybe, Cassie shrugged, but I've seen what they're capable of. 2 hours later, I parked outside the suburban home where I grew up. It looked so normal from the outside. White picket fence, neatly trimmed lawn, ceramic garden gnomes that Victoria collected. Nobody driving past would guess what happened behind those walls. I took a deep breath and knocked on the front door. Maeve, right on time, my father said, opening the door with a smile that never reached his eyes. He was wearing his favorite blue sweater, the one I'd given him 3 Christmases ago. Victoria's just finishing up dinner. Smells good, I lied, stepping inside. The house hadn't changed. Same beige walls, same family photos where we all pretended to be happy. Maeve's here, Dad called toward the kitchen. Victoria appeared, wiping her hands on a dishcloth. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a perfect bun, not a strand out of place. Perfect timing. I made your favorite pot roast. It wasn't my favorite. It was hers. Sounds delicious, I said, following them to the dining room. How's work? Dad asked as we sat down. He served himself first, as always. Fine. The law firm is keeping me busy. Just answering phones, Victoria commented with a dismissive wave. When are you going to get a real career? Actually, I've been promoted to paralegal, I said. And I'm starting law school in the fall. Dad looked up from his plate. Law school? How will you afford that? I've been saving, I said. And I got a scholarship? Why didn't you tell us? Victoria asked, her tone accusatory. We're family. I bit back a laugh. Family. Right. That's actually why I wanted to have dinner with you both. I have news. You're not pregnant, are you? Victoria asked, narrowing her eyes. No, I said firmly. I'm moving out. I found an apartment downtown, close to work and school. Dad put down his fork. Moving out? Why would you do that? You can live here rent-free. Nothing is free here, Dad, I said quietly. Everything comes with a price. What's that supposed to mean? Victoria snapped. I rolled up my sleeve, revealing the scarred initials on my forearm. This was the price last time I tried to leave. The room went silent. That was years ago, Dad finally said, his voice low. You were being difficult. I was 18 and had just gotten accepted to college, I corrected. I wanted to live in the dorms. We couldn't afford that, Victoria said defensively. No, you couldn't afford to lose control over me, I countered. So you made sure I'd never forget who I belonged to. Dad's face darkened. You're being dramatic. It was just a scratch. A scratch. I stood up, pushing my chair back. You held me down while she carved her initials into my arm with a kitchen knife. I needed 12 stitches. Lower your voice, Dad warned, glancing toward the window. The neighbors will hear. That's what you care about? The neighbors? I laughed bitterly. I had to tell the ER doctor I fell on a fence. I had to wear long sleeves for years. I still have nightmares. Victoria rolled her eyes. Always the victim. Yes, I was the victim, I agreed. But not anymore. Sit down and finish your dinner, Dad ordered. We can discuss this rationally. There's nothing to discuss. I'm leaving and there's nothing you can do about it. Dad stood up, towering over me. As long as you live under my roof. I don't, I interrupted. Not anymore. My things are already moved out. Victoria's face contorted with rage. After everything we've done for you? What exactly have you done for me, Victoria? Besides, give me scars? We fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head, Dad said. That's the bare minimum required by law, I shot back. Parents are supposed to love their children, not terrorize them. We love you, Dad insisted. We've always wanted what's best for you. No, you wanted what was easiest for you. A compliant daughter who never questioned your authority even when it was abusive. Victoria slammed her hand on the table. How dare you call us abusive? Your father works 60 hours a week to support this family. And reminds me of it every chance he gets, I said. Money isn't love. Control isn't love. Where is this coming from? Dad asked, his voice softening. Is it that therapist you've been seeing? She's filling your head with nonsense. Dr. Bennett helped me see the truth, I said. That what happened in this house wasn't normal. Nothing happened here that doesn't happen in every household, Victoria said dismissively. Children need discipline. I rolled up my sleeve again. This isn't discipline. This is assault. That was one time, Dad said. You pushed us too far. One time is all it takes, I replied. One time for me to realize who you really are. And who are we exactly? Victoria challenged. Abusers, I said simply. And I'm done being your victim. Dad's face went red. After everything we've sacrificed for you. Save it, I cut him off. I didn't come here for another guilt trip. I came to tell you I'm leaving and to give you these. I pulled an envelope from my purse and placed it on the table. What's this? Dad asked, not touching it. Legal documents, a restraining order. You're both to stay at least 500 feet away from me, my home, and my workplace. Victoria laughed. A restraining order? On what grounds? Assault, for starters, I said. I finally reported what happened, showed the police and the judge my scars, told them my story. Dad's face paled. You wouldn't. I already did, I replied. They wanted to arrest you both immediately, but I asked them to let me handle it my way. This is ridiculous, Victoria sputtered. It's your word against ours. Actually, it's not, I said. Cassie witnessed the aftermath. So did her parents. And the medical records from the emergency room visit exist, even if I was too scared to tell the truth then. Dad reached for the envelope with trembling fingers. This will destroy my career. The board doesn't keep child abusers as principals. You should have thought of that before you held me down, I said coldly. Maeve, please. Victoria's voice had lost its edge. We can work this out as a family. We're not a family, I corrected her. We're a victim and her abusers, and now there are consequences. What do you want? Dad asked, his voice barely audible. Money? I shook my head. I don't want anything from you, not anymore. Then why are you doing this? Victoria demanded. Because actions have consequences, I said. And it's time you faced yours. If you go through with this, Dad warned, you'll regret it. No more threats, Dad, I said calmly. The days of intimidating me are over. We can change, Victoria said suddenly. We can get counseling, family therapy. It's too late for that, I replied. 10 years too late. Dad's face hardened again. So that's it? You're just going to walk away and destroy our lives? The way you nearly destroyed mine? Yes. Victoria began to cry, but the tears didn't move me. I'd seen them before, whenever she needed to manipulate a situation. Think about what you're doing, Dad pleaded. Think about your future. Law schools don't accept troublemakers. Actually, my law school was very interested in my personal statement about surviving domestic abuse and wanting to help other victims, I said. The dean personally called to tell me how impressed they were with my resilience. This is a mistake, Victoria said between sobs. No, the mistake was thinking you could hurt me and I'd never fight back, I replied. Dad stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. Get out of my house. Gladly, I said, rising. The sheriff will be serving you officially tomorrow. I suggest you get a lawyer. As I walked toward the door, Victoria called after me. Maeve, wait! I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt you. I turned back one last time. Yes, you did. That's exactly what you meant to do. You wanted to mark me, to brand me as your property. But I don't belong to you. I never did. We're your parents, Dad said desperately. Biology and legality made you my guardians, I corrected. But your actions disqualified you from being my parents. I walked out the door without looking back. My phone buzzed with a text from Cassie. Everything okay? Never better, I replied, starting my car. 3 months later, I sat in Dr. Bennett's office for our weekly session. How are you feeling about the court date? She asked, her kind eyes studying my face. Nervous, I admitted, but ready. Your father's lawyer called again, she said. They're offering a settlement if you drop the charges. Not happening, I said firmly. It would mean avoiding a trial, she pointed out. No cross-examination, no media coverage. It would also mean no justice, I countered. Dad lost his job when the school board found out, but that's not enough. I want this on record. I want other victims to see that fighting back is possible. Dr. Bennett nodded. I understand. And how are things with your brother? Jason's still processing, I said. He escaped to college before the worst of it happened to me. He feels guilty. That's natural, she replied. Have you spoken with him about testifying? He says he will if I need him to. He remembers how they treated me differently after Mom died. And your new apartment? The law program? I smiled genuinely. Both amazing. I've made friends who've never seen me as a victim. My professors say I have a real aptitude for family law. That doesn't surprise me, Dr. Bennett said warmly. You've always had a strong sense of justice. I just want to help other people find their voice, I said. The way you helped me find mine. You always had a voice, Maeve, she corrected. You just needed to believe people would listen. That evening, I met Cassie and her boyfriend Tim for dinner at our favorite diner. I saw Victoria at the grocery store, Cassie said as we settled into our booth. She looked terrible. Good, Tim said bluntly, earning him an elbow from Cassie. What? After what they did to Maeve, they deserve whatever they get. It's not about what they deserve, I said. It's about making sure they can never hurt anyone else. Have you heard from your dad? Cassie asked carefully. His lawyer calls every week with a new settlement offer, I said. The amounts keep getting bigger. Maybe you should take it, Tim suggested. Set yourself up financially. I shook my head. This isn't about money. It never was. What is it about then? He asked. Truth, I said simply. For years, they made me believe I deserved what happened to me. That I was difficult, ungrateful, troubled. But that was a lie they told to justify their cruelty. And now everyone knows it, Cassie said, squeezing my hand. Not just that, I added. Now I know it, really know it, deep down. So what happens after the trial? Tim asked. Life happens, I said. I finish law school. I help other victims. I stop defining myself by what was done to me. Think you'll ever forgive them? Cassie asked quietly. No, I said without hesitation. Some things are unforgivable, but I won't let them haunt me anymore. That's the real freedom. As we finished our meal, my phone rang with an unfamiliar number. I answered cautiously. Is this Maeve Donovan? A woman's voice asked. Yes. Who's this? My name is Sarah Williams. I'm a reporter with the Daily Chronicle. I was hoping to talk to you about your case against Robert and Victoria Donovan. I hesitated, looking at my friends' concerned faces. It's an important story, Sarah continued, one that could help other abuse victims come forward. I took a deep breath. Okay, I'll talk to you. Thank you, Sarah said, relief evident in her voice. When would be a good time? Now, I decided. My story has been silenced for too long. I'm ready to tell it. Later that night, as I stood on the balcony of my new apartment, I looked at the city lights spreading out before me. For the first time in my life, I felt truly free. The scars on my arm would always be there, a permanent reminder of what I'd survived, but they no longer defined me. My phone buzzed with a text from Jason. Proud of you, sis. Always have been. I smiled, typing back, thanks for standing with me. He replied immediately, family stands together. Real family anyway. And that's what I'd found. Not in the house where I grew up, but in the people who supported me, believed me, fought for me when I couldn't fight for myself. That was real family. So what about you? If someone you loved betrayed your trust in an unforgivable way, would you fight for justice even if it meant tearing apart everything you knew? Or would you find a way to move forward without that closure?